Starting from November 3, electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles will be completely prohibited from crossing the Crimean Bridge. The relevant amendments to the resolution were signed on October 30 by the governor of the Krasnodar territory, Veniamin Kondratiev. The documents are provided in the Telegram channel of the Oberstaba of the Krasnodar territory. Starting at midnight on November 3, 2025, traffic restrictions on hybrid cars and electric vehicles from the Taman Peninsula on the section of the Novorossiysk-Kerch Public Highway A, 290 from kilometer 134 plus 660 to kilometer 145 plus 400 in the direction of the highway component of the Kerch Strait transport crossing, the decree says. However, for trucks and electric cars, as well as hybrid vehicles, an overland route to Crimea remains available through the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, starting from Taganrog and reaching Dzhankoy. Recall, recently Ukraine's security service has successfully carried out a months-long covert operation that struck the Crimean Bridge for a third time, with a precision underwater explosion. The first blast rocked the bridge, severely damaging underwater support pillars with an estimated 1,100 kilograms of explosives in TNT equivalent, according to Ukrainian intelligence officials. The operation, planned and executed in total secrecy, targeted the illegal structure's underwater foundations, rendering the bridge, used by Russia as a vital military logistics route, in a critically damaged state. Lieutenant General Vasil Maliuk, head of the SBU, personally oversaw the operation from start to finish. God loves a trinity, and the SBU always finishes what it starts and never repeats itself, Maliuk said. We hit the Crimean Bridge twice before, in 2022 and 2023. And we continued that tradition, this time, from below the surface. There is no place on Ukrainian territory for Russia's illegal infrastructure, he added. The Crimean Bridge is a completely legitimate target, especially given that the enemy has used it as a logistical artery to supply its troops. Crimea is Ukraine, and any signs of occupation will receive a harsh response. This marks the third successful Ukrainian attack on the Crimean Bridge since Russia's full-scale invasion began, but the first to use underwater demolition tactics. Earlier, Commander of the Ukrainian Navy, Vice Admiral Alexei Nizpapa stated that Ukraine is actively discussing a third operation targeting the Crimean Bridge. Recall, Russia is seeking life imprisonment for 8 individuals whom Russians accuse of planning to blow up the Crimean Bridge in October 2022. Court hearings in this case took place on October 29, 2025, in Rostov-on-Don, where the prosecution urged the maximum penalty for all suspects. According to the Russian side, 5 Russian citizens and 3 citizens of Ukraine and Armenia were detained during the investigation. As part of this case, the investigation is focused on establishing the suspects' involvement in planning and coordinating the attack, as well as clarifying each of their roles in the actions directly related to the detonation and its aftermath.
Russian forces have managed to break through to the outskirts of Milnorad in the Pokrovsk direction. Heavy street fighting is currently ongoing, stated the spokesman for the East Group of Forces, Ryhori Shapoval. At the moment, unfortunately, the enemy has reached the outskirts of Milnorad and is using not only artillery and drone systems, but also infantry and technical equipment, the military official said. He noted that Ukrainian defenders are holding their positions and constructing fortifications. Shapoval also pointed out that using certain types of weapons is difficult due to the ongoing street fighting in the city. Earlier, Ukrainian forces reported that the situation in the Pokrovsk agglomeration remains difficult. Russian troops are attempting to encircle the city, conducting assaults and using drones and guided bombs in efforts to disrupt the logistics of the Ukrainian forces. The most difficult situation is south of Pokrovsk. The Russian troops are actively trying to turn the settlement of Zvirov into a grey zone where they do not have full control. In Pokrovsk, rifle battles are ongoing and drone units are actively operating. Ukrainian defenders are using counter-sabotage measures to stop the Russian forces from advancing deeper and gaining a foothold within the urban area. The airborne forces noted that street fighting continues in Pokrovsk with the enemy, who managed to enter the city due to their numerical advantage in troops and equipment. At the same time, Ukrainian forces reported that the Russian forces do not have full control over any district. However, the Ukrainian position appears precarious. Small groups of Russian soldiers have penetrated the city, and fierce street fighting is underway, with Ukrainians attempting to track down and drive out the occupiers. However, the very fact that Ukrainian troops remain in the city over so many years has thwarted Russian plans. "We're holding the city for now. There's persistent chaos there," said a Ukrainian major whose brigade was stationed in the Pokrovsk area, adding that there were no plans to retreat. An officer speaking on condition of anonymity reported that between 200 and 250 Russian troops have amassed on the southern side of the city. Right now, there's a combat situation. Street fighting, he noted. Ukrainian special forces and assault troops arrived to strengthen the defense and cleanse Russian troops, he added. If Pokrovsk falls, it will be the largest city captured by Russian forces since the bloody battle for Bakhmut in 2023. People try to compare it to Bakhmut, but they're different situations. There aren't many Russians here, and most are simply hiding somewhere in basements, said a major who defended the city. But Russian soldiers hiding in the basement in Pokrovsk are destroyed. Pokrovsk is a key link in the chain of fortress cities preventing Russia from capturing the entire Donetsk region, one of its main goals in this war. Russia has made the ceasefire conditional on Ukraine's surrender of the rest of Donetsk, the publication wrote. WP noted that according to the 7th Corps of the Ukrainian Airborne Assault Forces, which is fighting in Pokrovsk, the Russians currently do not have full control over any of the districts of Pokrovsk. The defenders of Pokrovsk are actively resisting the occupiers of the city, the 7th Corps said in a statement. They added that their numbers had been reinforced by new units, including assault units, artillery, UAV crews, and other defense force components. Ryhori Shapoval said that Russian troops are amassing forces in the Kostiantynivka sector of the front in preparation for further assaults, with heavy fighting ongoing. There are currently very heavy battles taking place in the Kostiantynivka sector, and the enemy is concentrating its forces, Shapoval said. He added that over the past 10 days, Russian troops had mostly attacked in small, mobile groups without using equipment. They are now accumulating manpower and deploying heavy armored vehicles, which is driving intense combat in the area. As a result, the enemy is suffering enormous losses. The situation is difficult, although not critical and expected. The reason is the changing weather, which the enemy uses as cover to attack in rain and fog, Shapoval explained.